Hello, welcome to Have a Tea with me. My name is Chris. You are here on the Lesson Jigsaw channel. We are here for English language conversation practice. If you are learning English and you want to practice your speaking and conversation skills, we are here for you. All you need to do is click the link that you'll find in the chat, and if you click on that, you'll come through to the studio and you can talk with us live about whatever you fancy talking about. Maybe there's some new vocabulary that you've learned or come across that you want to practice and try in different situations. Um, Perhaps I don't know. Perhaps there's a situation coming up that you want to rehearse. Maybe answering questions or trying to ask for certain things like that. Or maybe just want a little bit of chit chat, just a little bit of general conversation, like when people first meet, and just have the random chatter, if you like. Maybe you fancy that. Maybe there's something topical, some news or event in the world that you'd like to talk about, or give your opinion, or practice giving your opinion about, or presenting, or practicing presenting different ways of giving views and opinions for different things. All of those things are available for you to do. So yeah, by all means, go through and click on that link. You'll find the link on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. If you're watching us on Twitter, that link won't be there, so you need to go through to one of the other channels. So now I should say we are here every day for Monday to Friday at 12 o'clock Universal Time. So if you would like to find us, we are here at that time. If that's not a good time for you and you're watching on the replay, hello, thank you for watching. You can always send us an email, chatonlessonjigsaw@gmail.com. That's chatonlessonjigsaw@gmail.com. And let us know where you are in the world, and let us know if you'd like to participate, what time zone you're in, and some days and times that might be better for you. And we'll see if we can arrange a live stream to have a chat and have a practice with you. So that's available for you there as well. I'm not drinking the tea just yet, just because it is a little bit on the warm side, shall we say. The dates at the time of this broadcast, what time we're going live, is 27th of April. It is Wednesday, middle of the week, and it is the year 2022. Still, it's been there for a few months, but it's still 2022. So hope you're doing well. As always, we need to look for conversation, things to talk about, and you can, I guess, find inspiration in lots of different places. Depending on what you're interested in, you can talk about what you see, what's around you, what you've heard, stories that you know about. It could be a picture that you see. It could be a news story that you've watched on TV, or that you've read in a newspaper, or a magazine article, or like a novel that you've read, something like that. Lots of different places for inspiration. And sometimes maybe you're thinking, okay, I'm not sure in English what I could say. Of course, the conversation can be exactly the same as you would have in your native language. If you're trying to think of an idea, what should I say? Try and think of questions. Use the question words: who, what, when, where, why, how. And any type of question you can create, think of those questions and try and answer them. Volunteer different information. Give your opinion. So at the end of the day, be going like, what do you think? What do you think about the situation? What do you think about the picture? What do you think about the movie? What do you think about the lunch? Whatever it might be. You can give your opinion, your thoughts, and that sort of thing. Now, today we've we've looked at a few different resources over the last few months. We're going to look at this. This is a site called NDTV. I believe this is an Indian website, or they're based in India, at least anyway. Well, certainly you can see the bottom right there, the COVID update is just talking about India. I'm not sure if I press plus, if that's okay. That just gives me more information, but it's just on India. So, I would imagine, with the logic there, that we can safely assume it's India. Okay, so it's got the COVID update there, and I guess it's interesting if you go around to different countries and different cities, you can see what's important for some countries. Of course, with some web pages, news sites, blogs, whatever you may be looking at, they can always be coming from different angles, different perspectives, with different takes on the world. So that doesn't mean necessarily everyone has this, or these are the priorities for everyone. But it's interesting, I think, to see how different websites are organized. So with this one, it's obviously, NDTV, I guess it's in the title, but it looks as though you can hook in directly or access directly the TV broadcast that they have. So I assume they're probably a national broadcaster, probably a news channel, but not necessarily, I don't know. So then it's got latest news, COVID, Indian news, opinion, video, and cities. I guess this is specific cities around India. I'm going to guess if I click on that. I guess, yeah, they're sort of going through different cities and places in India. Then the world, offbeat, that could be interesting. So perhaps offbeat, if you go into offbeat, I don't know, I haven't checked. But if you go into offbeat, you can perhaps click some of these ads away. If you go into offbeat, yes, I imagine you'll find, let's say, rarer stories or more unusual stories. Perhaps stories that are more humorous or not so serious in a sense, or shocking, as this case may be, or this one may be. So a restaurant shut down for preparing samosas in a toilet for 30 years. Okay, that's unusual. I'm sure there's more to that story than that. Maybe it's just a place that has everything in one room. There's no there's no divider between different things, maybe like a studio kitchen sort of thing, perhaps. Okay, so that's offbeat. Then trends and photos and other things. So let's just scroll down, shall we? We'll scroll down the main change. The main page, I should say, the name change, but the main page. Okay, so we've got, this is, I don't know about this. Maybe if you're in India, if you've been to India or familiar with different things in India. Trending on Coup. I don't know what Coup is. It looks to be very similar. Well, I don't know. I was going to say it looks similar to Twitter, but it could also be similar to Facebook, and it could just be like status updates. But it looks sort of more like Twitter, and perhaps this is the version of, or like a more local version of India. Same as in different countries, they have different types of, I guess, instead of things like Facebook in particular, they have their own local versions, or for particular regions, they have those versions. So again, just scrolling down, interesting to see the different things. Of course, everyone is focused on Ukraine and that sort of thing on all of the websites. I don't think I've seen this before on let's say a general news website where they've got the crypto price, the price updates, but on the home screen. Like they'll have like maybe a finance section or business section that you click and go into, but I don't think I've seen cryptocurrency listed. Certainly there's what would you call it, like shares and stock market things or currency, you'll see sometimes on different ones, but I don't think I see crypto too often. So, but perhaps this is a sponsored thing. So it's not something they put there necessarily as a thing that they would do as a newspaper, but because it's sponsored, because we've got Buy Coin Switch, and I assume that's a company of some sort that does something related to crypto. Then we scroll down with all the different stuff, lots of tech stuff, that sort of stuff. As you would imagine, I don't know if you know about the different sports in different countries, but certainly cricket is something I would imagine to see very commonly on an Indian website. Same as you would see it on an Australian website and an English website. The main countries, I guess, that play cricket well, and that sort of makes sense, I guess, isn't it? Same as you would see football, the different types of football in countries where that's the primary sport, let's say. Interesting, World Malaria Day. I didn't know. It's maybe, I'm not sure if this is yesterday or today, or depending on where you are in the world. Oh, okay. Well, actually, it's a few days ago. April 25 was World Malaria Day. So we've got the picture of the mosquito there. It's interesting, mosquitoes close up. Interesting. But yes, anyway, so there's World Malaria Day. Okay, and so they've got, this is like a promotional thing. So wearing a mask is the trend today. Get into the trend and be safe. Okay, nice. Okay, it looks like they've got profiles on different people, that sort of thing. Okay, that's quite an extensive homepage and a front page with lots of interesting details. So a bit for everyone, I guess. So okay, so even like with the crickets, okay, that's good. You got everything very, very close. Yeah, it's very easy to find the information, I have to say. It's just an interesting story here. Let's see if I can. Oops. It's difficult to get rid of this ad here. Look at that. You try and there we go. You have to go from it around the side to get rid of that ad. This is an interesting headline. So the 2016 Egypt crash caused by pilot's lit cigarette. Investigation finds. Okay. Of course, there's a different language, isn't there? If you're talking about headlines and the way they use English, you'll find different uses of English and the way it's structured. Sort of like a point form without points. Without the bullet points necessarily. So it was on its way from Paris to Cairo, May 2016, and crashed into the Mediterranean Sea, killing 66 people. Okay, so this is amazing. All 66 people on board was caused by a cockpit fire. It's where the pilot sits, of course, which started due to the pilot's cigarette. Wow. So the pilot of the ill-fated. So anything ill-fated, what happened to it was bad news, basically. It met disaster. So this is very common in stories. You'll see this. But ill-fated, okay. So the fate of it was ill, I guess, was bad. So the pilot lit a cigarette in the cockpit, causing oxygen leaking from an emergency mask to combust. That's so I wonder how often they did that, because perhaps it's not the, well, I mean, I don't know. Okay. So I just had a quick scan down. It answers my question. So this is why it can be good to answer or ask questions sometimes. So the report further said that Egyptian pilots regularly smoked in the cockpit, and the practice had not been banned by the airline at the time of the crash. That's I don't know what to think about that. That's a very strange thing. I'm assuming that's true. Now this report is it's interesting how they've compiled this, because the first part they've got according to the New York Post, and then the second says a report in the Independent said, whichever place the Independent was. Maybe it's the UK. I think it's the UK Independent. If I click on that, okay, you don't see the link, but I can see it's .co.uk as the web address. But it's got but this is referring to the same report. So clearly, what's happened? I guess this is very common for news websites, is that they just get reports from agencies. Perhaps it is. I'm not sure. Maybe we can find out at the end. It might say if this is from an agency. No, I don't think it says it's from an agency. It just doesn't say. But normally they tell you if it's from an agency, it just says it was edited. So I guess it's from somewhere and they edited it, of course, but I don't know where it's from, because it's just interesting that it's basically they haven't read the report, but they've got information from different news websites, because then they've got the Italian newspaper, I'm not sure how to say that, Corriere della Sera, maybe, I don't know, even claimed that there was a sound of hissing recorded by a microphone on the mask. I don't know why the mask is a mic. Maybe it has maybe it's of course the masks in the cockpit, so they keep recording for the flight recorder box or the black box. But this seems to be a compilation of different reports in from different newspapers or news sites, which is interesting. So 3 different news sites are reading the report, but the actual website didn't read. I guess that's the quick way to do it, isn't it? And like I say, perhaps that's just the common way to do it. But I don't know if this is probably from an agency, like was it APP and Reuters, I guess, are the common ones that you hear about. Maybe there are others as well, but it's an interesting thing. But anyway, so to the actual detail, I think that's shocking, isn't it? I guess the shocking thing is that Egypt Air, from what this indicates, they apparently permitted this practice, so of pilots smoking in the plane, and I assume in the plane no one else could smoke. But then again, I'm sure like on private planes and private jets and things, people smoke all the time, I'm sure. Um, but because I don't know if this was a normal thing to happen with the emergency masks combusting. I'm not sure if that's a regular issue, or if that was like, I don't think that was necessarily part of the reason why smoking was banned. It's a bit of bad luck, perhaps. Nevertheless, if the rest of the plane couldn't smoke, it's strange that the pilot could smoke. And it's interesting because I don't know if there are any IATA rules, because I'm not sure if every airline has to sort of be with IATA or part of IATA or not. I assume it's a voluntary participation with them. But I do wonder if Egypt Air is part of IATA, and if that's the case, if IATA has any regulations, being the international, or the most recognized perhaps international body in relation to flying and commercial aircraft. At least I'm not sure if it's only commercial aircraft or private sort of aircraft as well. But it'd be interesting if IATA didn't have any specific rule to say there is no smoking on a flight, including everyone. It's funny that you would have to say including everyone. That's like saying, well, maybe not exactly the same, but it's like saying, no one can break the law, including the police or something. It's like, why would you need to specify, necessarily? So it's just a curious thing. I'm not sure how the IATA regulations are, or rules or whatever are worded, if it's a recommendation or if it's something that's mandatory. To be part of IATA, you have to follow these things, or if they just have guidelines, or indeed if it's just in terms of the country. I don't know if an airline flies in one particular country's airspace, if they have to abide by laws within that country. I'm not sure how that works. So let's say to fly within a country's airspace. But I'm not sure how airspace is actually determined. That could be a good question to find out. If it's the same as the border, in terms of like the land border, or because you also have like the waters around countries, that sort of thing, are the responsibility, let's say, of different countries or certain countries. So I guess I wonder if the airspace also includes that. But anyway, so if that airspace, if they have to follow particular rules to fly inside that airspace, to have permission to do that. I don't know how airspace works, but so the plane crashed into the eastern Mediterranean Sea near the island of Crete under mysterious circumstances. Now, I guess the question is, I guess here, because it says the practice had not been banned, so it's talking about the time before the crash, and then that's highlighted at the time of the crash. And so I guess perhaps an insinuation or a conclusion you could draw. It's a nice collocation. Whoops, don't necessarily need to see me there. Let me go back here. Okay. This is what we want. Okay. There we go. Okay. So a conclusion we could draw is blah blah. It's very nice to introduce. Well, there we go. Introduce a conclusion, of course. But yes, that's one way to introduce that. Or of course, you could say at the end, you could say blah, 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 is a conclusion that could be drawn if you want to use a passive construction. Let's get that down. So like that. Is a conclusion that could be drawn. And perhaps another word you could also say is a reasonable conclusion that could be drawn. That's certainly something that could be used as well. But so with this article, the way this is written, I guess we can assume that practice is now not permitted. But it'll be interesting to know which airlines do permit smoking on board. I'll be very, and it might be interesting to know if there are any airlines which we imagine, will be like a shock. So which airlines permit smoking by pilots? You can't see this one. Let's do a quick check to see. Okay. There are some. Okay, there's some interesting articles about that. Let me just give me a second here. I'll put this up in the meantime while I tell you. I'll remind you that this is Have a Tea with me. We are here every day, Monday to Friday, from at 12 o'clock Universal Time, practicing English. So if you want to practice your English language conversation skills, you're more than welcome to join us. All you got to do is click on the link that you'll see in the comments. That's on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. If you're on Twitter, you need to go to one of the other three to see that link. But certainly that link is there, and you can come through and chat to us. I'm just talking to myself because no one else is here at the moment. That's the the way things go. But the and I should also say, if you see this on the replay and you don't think that's a good time for you, or you prefer another time, you can always send us an email, chatonlessonjigsaw@gmail.com. chatonlessonjigsaw@gmail.com. Let us know where you are, what time zone you're in, maybe what you like to talk about, and general times and days that might be better for you, and we can see if we can arrange a class or something, or a live stream for that time for you to participate in. So I've got that there, but actually we want this. So these are some search results. Now I asked which airlines permit smoking by pilots. This is not something I would normally search for, but it's quite a lot of results. So I guess smoking, just in-flight smoking is there. So you got the Wikipedia entry. Can a pilot smoke in India? While passengers were banned from smoking, pilots were allowed to smoke. This is a report in 2017. Okay. So this is, because it's an Air Asia pilot was grounded. You often say that for the aircraft as well, to be grounded, meaning they can't fly, of course. Can you smoke on private jets? They're talking about marijuana in particular, but no. Is smoking allowed on planes? Smoking in airplanes once went hand in hand, but the practice is now largely banned. Not everywhere, largely banned. And it began. So the regulations began in the 70s. So let's have a look here. Again, this is 2017, and maybe a lot of it followed that because of that Air Asia story that we just saw. So yes, you can't smoke on planes, but pilots sometimes can. Let's see. We'll scroll through And let's see. Okay, notice it. Some US carriers instituted non-smoking sections, but as the stale air circulated through the cabin, pretty much all passengers could count on getting a lungful of nicotine. In fact, pilots and maintenance personnel recall that the outflow valves that regulate cabin pressure on airlines often became clogged with tar and nicotine, caused all sorts of problems. And the valves had to be scrubbed clean by maintenance crews. And so the rest of the world, so the US started a ban, and the rest of the world followed suit. There's a nice expression, to follow suit. This comes from playing cards. Like if someone puts down a diamond card, the next person has to put down a diamond. That's the diamond is the suit, or hearts, or clubs, or spades. So that's like an example of suits. And so to follow suit is to do what the other ones do. On paper, at least. That's a nice thing. On paper. So that's in theory. Smoking is banned on all commercial flights. The last holdout, the Cuban company Cubana, banned smoking on international flights in 2014. Okay. And then it was e-cigarettes because of the risk from batteries. Okay. I didn't realize the problem was the battery rather than the actual what people are smoking. But even with all those bans, smoking still happens on some flights. So I guess there's nothing with, like I was talking about with IATA, there's no regulation or anything, it seems. So some travelers have reported that in the Moroccan Royal Air Maroc and the Algerian carrier Air Algiers occasionally ignore smoking in the cabin. And sometimes it's not the passengers, but the crew who smoke on board. I remember being on a plane watching the crew sort of relaxing and doing sort of all sorts on one flight, but I won't say which airline that was. Okay, and so it's often on China Eastern flights, there's smell of cigarette smoke. But people have reported that China Eastern flight attendants aren't responsive to those concerns. Okay, it's a very relaxed flight. There isn't back in the day. This even right next to children. But then again, these days you see that still a lot anyway with some parents who smoke. But yes. So I guess that was the problem, was because cigarettes can cause fire, airline bathrooms are still equipped with ashtrays. Okay. Now, okay, so it doesn't tell me too much else. Okay, but I'm sure there were other ones that I saw. Okay, so perhaps this was the reason why other places sort of reported on it. So this was in December 2017, and so August 2017, October 2019. But I guess it's coming from this Air Asia one that happened. So this was perhaps the result of the investigation, but here perhaps they realized from the report. I wonder if this will come up. So everything you need to know. Lighting on a terrible idea now. So again, we're scanning through to see. Since the golden age of flying, times are changing. In-flight smoking today. Okay. Okay, so in 2009, a plane was delayed from takeoff as the flight crew frantically searched for a replacement ashtray. Apparently, At one point, the pilot just gave up and told a flight attendant to go and take one from another plane. Interesting. So then the other plane has that problem, I guess. So, okay, let's talk about then cravings. Okay, so this is for people who want to quit smoking. So, but I don't know. I do wonder, like I was saying with the regulations, like if you fly over a particular airspace, and I see here they're talking about the FAA, that's in America. And so prohibited smoking on flights of two hours or less in 1988. So first to implement a ban on domestic flights were in Australia, 87. By 1990, for all international flights. So I guess so. Okay, so it's the local laws in the country that seem to determine it. So perhaps where they were flying to and from, I guess the idea is though no one's going to catch them, is what they're thinking in general, isn't it? So yes, I missed the cabin crew bits, but maybe it's just like a very small section, and it's easy to miss. Okay, but anyway, okay. So we can find it there, but it's. I'm not sure. I don't think that website is good to look at. Okay, I think it's hard to tell. I think it's hard to tell. Anyway, okay. So it's a curious thing, anyway, isn't it? That pilots, and it would be good if there's an easy way to find out. That's, I guess, one of the things that, at least that story that we looked at, maybe one of the 3 source articles has more information, but it's an interesting thing that they don't tell us. If they gave us extra information, I think that could be useful to have. Okay, we're going to leave it there for today. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, all those sorts of things. We will see you next time. Thank you very much for joining us. This is Have a Tea with me, and you're watching the Lesson Jigsaw channel. We're here for this particular show every day, Monday to Friday, 12 o'clock Universal Time. We hope you have a great day. And it's an enjoyable time for you, if it's morning, afternoon, evening, whatever the time may be. And we'll see you next time. Take care.